I got to see you. It was like this past weekend, but you were just in my match not too long ago. How was that experience? Let's start off with asking questions for you.
Wow, wow, wow. We're twisting it here. Okay. It was a little scary. So it was my second time ever reffing, because the first time ever was just a match or two before that. So the first day ever on the job. And yeah, I think I gave you a warning about that beforehand against your match against Journey Burke at BCW's Christmas with a Vengeance. And you let me have it when I was a little out of position there.
Hey, I'm a different person when I'm in that ring. I've told people before.
Well, you gotta be. And listen, all right. So touching about what I talked about before, like they call you the courageous one, right? And I could definitely see why. I've always seen why. You are tenacious, girl. You turn it on to another level when you're in that ring. You just and I feel like, especially the last few months, you've stepped up another notch here. But before we get into all of that, let's get to know a little bit more about you, Christina. You've been at this since what, 2016?
Yeah, it's crazy to hear that. Yeah.
I hope I didn't make you feel old or anything like
No,
that. Trust me.
when you say a year, you think of like that year. Wow. Yeah.
No, trust me. I could go on all day about where I was in my life in 2016. A little bit different. I wasn't even wrestling, actually. So with you though, like, you come through the years. Do you start off powerlifting? Do we start off as a powerlifter, or is this something that transitioned from wrestling into that? Like, how did that all come to be?
I started powerlifting actually a few years before that. About 3 years before that, I started competing in powerlifting. It was something I always wanted to do, and this is what kind of led up to me finding wrestling. But that was something that was very natural to me, is lifting weights, especially excessive weights, and stuff. And it helped me deal with a lot at a young age. So going to the gym was just like a relief. But yeah, I started off powerlifting and then kind of found the school nearby, and I tried to collab both of them for like the first year to 2 years, and I couldn't do them both at the same time anymore.
Mm. So what was, if you don't mind me asking, what was going on in your life that you felt like I need to focus on something else here? Like,
Hmm.
that powerlifting at that point was the answer. What was going on?
Um, a lot of people know, some people don't. My mother fought brain cancer for about 9.5 years, and right before I decided to chase my powerlifting and then pro wrestling career, my mom passed away when I was 21. She finally
Oh,
got defeated from brain cancer, and it just drained her. Like it's not even like she was really herself. She was mentally not even able to have normal conversations, but she could read, but you couldn't have like, hey, how's it going? It was like a part of her brain that it really affected, and it like drained her. She was 55 when she passed away, and she looked like she was like an 80, 90-year-old woman. But
oh man.
she is my strength, my inner core. So when she passed away, it was almost like, every day of those 9.5 years growing up, didn't really get the chance to finish school because of watching my mom in and out of the hospital and living at the hospital at a young age. So it was just like in and out, and then kind of was like a day in and day out thing where, they told us that she could die any day. You know what I mean? She could die, like she wasn't supposed to live past 6 months of that cancer. So me being 11, 12 years old, I wasn't thinking I was going to see mom past 14. And then I took care of her, bedridden, a whole bunch of stuff, big, huge, different meters of different health issues on top of the brain cancer. But when she passed away, I had a lot of anger management that built up, a lot of disconnection. People didn't understand what I went through, nor never will, because of what me and my family went through. So I found powerlifting, weightlifting, heavy weights. It helped me channel that energy to get out of the depression. And I had to figure it out all on my own because I didn't have no other female in my life to help me cope with anything. Like,
Oh wow.
I mean, I had friends, but I have my brothers and my dad. I'm the only female left. So that's why I'm such a tomboy, such a rough ass.
were,
But
were they the reason
yeah.
why? Were they the reason why powerlifting? Because, like, I mean, there's so many different ways to channel the said anger or the depression and the things that you're going through. But powerlifting seems so specific. Why was it that?
Um, I was training at a gym at the time, and I was working out with a couple of friends of actually a prior boss of mine when I used to work at a retail store shoe department. I was working out with him, and I actually met Rick Recon at
No
that time
way.
before he started training. Like he's my training buddy. Like me and him started at the same place. He started a month before I did, but he checked it out before he gave me the word. And before that, I started powerlifting, and then I started training at the same time. So I was taking on both of them at the same time. And then I ended up going to a different group that powerlift. And then Josh focused on Olympics or excuse me, Rick, but AKA Josh, he focused on like his Olympics, like Seth Rollins, like Roman Reigns, and like all those type of lifts, and then went to training. I lacked on the training the first like consistency because I didn't know what I wanted, but I actually was very good at learning still, like at that pace. But um, so yeah, that's how I met Rick Recon, and I forgot what the beginning of the first question was. I get so sidetracked.
No, it's basically just like why was it that path? Why what attracted
It was in front of
powerlifting
me,
to
and it
you?
was something that I wanted. Powerlifting, I seen it when I was training. So that's when I was training with Josh at the gym, and like my old boss at the time, I was seeing this group that just was screaming, lifting up weights, and just like, oh, and that's like my energy all the time. You know me in the locker rooms, like when I come into the locker room, everyone knows, like, oh my God, Chrissy's here. Like, I'm just myself. Like, you know what I mean? If there's something wrong, I'm quiet. Like something's wrong. So like I kind of like wear my feelings on my sleeve, kind of like, but it was just in front of me, and powerlifting was it. I wanted to do UFC originally. I think I discussed that to you prior, not with other podcasts. I wanted to do UFC because I had a lot of anger management from losing my mom. My father begged me not to. He said, "You're too pretty of a face, you know, blah blah blah." And I decided, what am I going to go out there and really just get my face beat the shit in and beat somebody else in? Like, what do I'm looking at and getting out of that? What is that feeling? And I thought about that for a while, and then I found I was powerlifting, and then I tried wrestling out, and I was like, holy shit. Like, they allowed me to do a lot more stuff than normal training tryouts did because they were so like about my athleticisms, the kip ups. Like, I remember taking 100 bumps. I remember my trainer just laying it in on me. He wanted me to break from day one, Shockwave, but he knows like I I made it through. I made it through all that stuff. So just
Were
was in
you
front of me.
were you an athlete beforehand?
Yeah, I was a cheerleader. I did soccer. I did baseball. I actually wish I could have done football, but I used to play tackle football with my friends all the time. Like
Oh
growing
my God,
up, it
you
was
are a badass girl.
like back then, like we used to play up the street from my old house, and like I remember these kids would be like, oh, we'd finally get some of the girls over after school, and then I'd hang out with the same four guys. Like one was really big ones. They're like, all right, two-man touch for the girls, but Chrissy can tackle. I'm like, of course Chrissy can tackle. Chrissy can tackle. And it was just like I remember so many times, like my life prepared me to be a professional wrestler. Let's face it, like multiple different things in my life. I ran face first into an AC running from manhunt like this, boom, hit the concrete, had the lump. My mom, that was right before my mom got sick. And I remember my mom was like screaming, and I was just standing there. So it's funny because that just currently happened with the bump on my head. If you've seen on my Instagram and my Facebook from
I did see that. It made me think of that actually right away.
Marcello, the promoter, like my homeboy, like he literally was like looking at me. He's like, you just, I can't stop staring at it. Like, 'cause it was so big and I was smiling. And it just reminded me at this time, like when my mom looked at me, but like was like, Christina, why are you smiling? I'm like, it doesn't hurt. Why are you like it's never like, anything serious.
You're one tough person, man. Like, damn. So you've always been this way, pretty much. Like, as you said so perfectly, like, your life pretty much has geared you towards professional wrestling. So let's dive into the professional wrestling world. You have been on a tear at BCW. Not even just BCW. I've seen you do so many different promotions,
The
absolutely killing it.
Northeast. I am
The
the
Northeast.
Northeast baddest person. Like, I mean, if you go out west, like it's my home, like my ECW home or ESW, excuse me. But like still, like I'm the baddest heel. I feel like I'm the Northeast bitch. Like Let's be clear.
Yeah, cursing is allowed here. You're allowed to say it.
That was
But
a little curse.
but, but you it seems like you stopped short in calling yourself Queen of the North. And in our last show, Queen of the North 4 at BCW, you went on to you beat Shelby Waters and Journey Burke, which was kind of like an impromptu match, if you will. You were supposed to face Jada Stone, you know, card always subject to change. That didn't happen.
Mhm.
Then you find yourself in a triple threat. You said like, "Hey, I'm the only North one here. I'm the only one of North. Everyone's from down south or whatever." The next, so obviously the show cut short because of unfortunate injury with Vicious Vicki.
Yeah.
Before I dive into the whole Queen of North thing, like I know you and Vicki, you know each other very well. What was going through your mind when all that happened?
When it first happened, I was in Gorilla, waiting because I was the match after her and stuff. And then when it got quiet, and then someone said Vicky got hurt, my heart dropped because, like, you you meet a lot of people in this business, but when people like actually are your friends and like you care about them, like you care, you know what I mean? You get to know them on a different level, and you
Yeah,
actually like care. So my heart dropped because I was like, wait, what? Like, for someone like her, someone like me, to really like say, whoa, 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 and do that and face the fact that you're really hurt on live stream as well. Not if it could be on 10,000 people. For you to really do that, into any wrestler as well, get hurt and do that, that is scary. That means you're scared. You're scared right now for your life. It is a broken leg or it's a neck, like it could be a concussion. We go out there and we know that it could be the last match, it could be the last
mm,
time we even. That's why I make a prayer every time I go out, because you know what I mean, for my opponent, for me, and for the ref, like for everybody that's in this ring right now, because what we do is crazy. Like everything's crazy. But my heart dropped. And instantly, I don't know if you heard me at one point. Like I screamed in the back, "Turn off the live stream." I don't know if you heard me. I was in the grill. I screamed it because I seen that like the camera was still going. Like after a couple minutes that she was laying there, I screamed because like in my head I was like, "Turn this shit off!" Like, you know what
right.
I mean? Like,
And
God, like
they ultimately
they
did,
did.
but
No, they did.
yeah,
They did right away. Like they did. But it was like the first thing, like when she was really down in like maybe 30 seconds. So like say down. And I was like looking at when I seen her and I was like, what's going on? I was trying to read her body, before, me or Mimi wanted to go out there and really check on her. So I literally screamed, turn off the live stream, which she was already setting the camera down anyways on the thing. I don't even think it was really
right.
rolling. So,
I think
but
a
like, I
lot of
just, my
things were going
heart,
on during that, though. Sorry to interrupt. A lot of things were going on during that point because, like, I was doing commentary for that match, and when
yeah,
that happened, I mean, there was just like me and Puddy were just like, "Wait, is this supposed to be happening?" Because like seemed like there was confusion with the ref going in there right away. Like,
it's hard to tell
it,
sometimes.
it was hard to tell, and then I remember what was supposed to be going on with the match, yada yada, and it's like, no, wait, this is not supposed to happen. This is something's very
Yeah.
wrong here. Um, and I think when I started coming to the realization, I think the camera people started, I think the fans did, like I
Hmm.
think a lot of people were coming to that realization. No, something is very wrong here.
Yeah.
I got off commentary because I'm friends with Vicky as well. I felt the need to just see what the hell is going on. Lots of confusion from everyone, and I didn't necessarily know you were in Gorilla, so yeah, that
Yeah, so
must have
like
been
I
rough.
yelled it like once. I yelled it once running up the stairs because I was like behind the staircase, and the way the structure is. And I ran up on the stage, but like by the time I yelled look on stage, she was already setting it down. But like I think about it I think about it like how I would want, if God forbid I ever got hurt, like, and it was like live, like, and it was capability of doing something where you can cut the stream like that, or like change the channel or do something like change it to like some direction. Like it sucks, like, you know what I mean? But what killed me the most is like I didn't get the chance to see the move happen, because if I seen it I would have instantly knew, like, oh my God, like this is the real deal. Because at first I thought the same thing. I was like, was this part of their match? I was like, and then I'm not trying to question, but I was like, no, this girl, like Vicky's hurt, like I know my girl, like she's not gonna just wait, like no, like, that's like me, like there ain't gonna be no play if I actually have to throw the X up. uh, I won't even play the X. If I throw the X up, it's for real. Like it's I'm injured. But my
Yeah,
heart dropped back to that. Like I'm just so grateful to hear the news that it's not anything serious, and mild concussion and a strain. And it's scary, you know what I mean? My friend Adina, she had scissors, broke her clavicle, boom. Like, you know, and then we're all girls, we're all friends, we all talk. So like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's scary, you know, like it's not, it could be anything. And it's just scary to see one of your friends go through something like
And
that. And like my
especially
heart dropped.
Vicky was saying she's done this move 1,000 times, so it could really be like anything. Like we've seen
That's like
it
me.
multiple times with a professional wrestler. I mean, yeah,
And
like
yeah, it's anything can happen, you know what I mean? It could just be one little thing. One little
it,
thing, you know.
it's wrestling. Vicky said it best to the EMT in the ring. It's wrestling, man. This shit happens. Like,
Yeah. And
um,
you know, she's a
yeah,
champ. She's a real champ.
she's a warrior. I've told her that countless times during this. She's a fucking warrior. And you all are.
No,
But
absolutely. Every single one of us, you know, and I'm glad. One thing is I respect about BCW is making that decision to end the show because all of us were, if not in tears, bound, like, you know what I mean? Like, just, it would have probably ended up worse for us to continue a show in that condition after that situation than to just reschedule the Queen of the North tournament or the qualification. You know what I mean? It's understandable. I know like they're trying to make it a next show, even if they decided to do like who qualifies in the next whoever's available, we could always just string it out. But like they did the best decision by doing that, and I that was so much. It was so great to see that decision be made, especially for
oh yeah.
Vicky and anyone. You know what I mean? In the locker room getting hurt.
Well, you know, what comes down to, I don't want to put words in Anthony Cole's mouth, but I know Anthony pretty well. I know AJ very well, and
Great people.
yeah, I mean, I know me and AJ, we have our issues, but overall, like you know, they it's talent first. It's talent first. We're all a family, a dysfunctional family, but we are all family,
We are one
and
big family.
and we watch out for each other. And like there's, especially with Vicky, like, you know how close we all are to her. There's no way we could have continued just without knowing that, you know, that she's okay. And I think
Hmm.
the talent felt the same way, obviously. But you know, I business is going to pick up, right? So you did wind up qualifying. So did Brittany Jade, and so did Notorious Mimi. The winner of that will be the next Queen of the North, who would then get a championship opportunity against either Ruthless Lala or whoever's the champion at that point. Talk to me about this. I mean, like, we don't necessarily know when this match is going to happen yet. It's talking about Anniversary 6, could be over the summer. Everyone's got to get the schedules figured out. But with that being said, what is your mindset with this, you know, going forward?
I mean, after the little circus I ran with my first match, I mean, that show that ended pretty quickly. I mean, Notorious Mimi is quite a challenger for myself. And you know, the other one, I don't know too much about the other one. I know she comes from down south, but again, she's trying to be Queen of the North. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, if you ask me, you know, I think I let my work speak for itself, explanatory, like why. So, I mean, only the strongest will survive. So we're just gonna have to figure out who is the rightful Queen of the North.
You stake your claim for it. I mean, for me, you really opened my eyes to how damn good you are. And I was always aware of how good you were, but like really it was just like brought me into it, like cemented it down, was that match with Darius Carter at Grand Dragon Tournament. It was the second round. Girl, I have never seen guy or girl take it to Darius the way that you did. Like if that's not Queen of the North worthy, I don't know what is.
See, you know, I heard Darius talking in the beginning of the show, and I had, you know, if Danny didn't go out there and beat me to it, I probably would have went out there and said my 2 words. But like, you know, there's a right time and a right place for that stuff. And you know, don't forget, I never forget a loss, and I definitely get my wins after I get my losses. Somehow, some way, it gets done, and I just
This
figure out a way.
close. You were
It's
this
this close.
close.
But let me tell you something. I put Darius Carter to the tip of his toes. I know there's a lot of female competitors. Even I'm not putting no shame on anyone, not even Marina Shafir. Like, she is a badass mama, like straight up. But I'm not gonna lie, like Marina works a little different than me. We guarantee know that. I will slam Darius on his head 100 times, and all Father, go to heaven. I'll, you know, I'm gonna just leave it as that because after I mentally got into Darius Carter's head when we were at the chair spot.
You called him a bitch.
I only call things the way I see them, and I'm pretty sure the crowd agreed. So, Darius knows, like, I'm always up for round two, but you know what? He got his win, so he can't make that decision for that rematch. I'll decide when I want to have that rematch.